Mason, tell us about your spiritual background. What was life like growing up for you?
Yeah, so my dad is a family pastor over at Tate Springs right now, but he was a worship pastor when I was little. So I grew up my entire life in the church, like constantly in the church. But I kind of hit that point where I was just like understanding things that were being said in church. I was like, hey, Dad, I kind of want to know more about that Jesus guy. And so we kind of went through a full 3-week process or so where he kind of talked me through a lot of things, made sure I was ready to understand what I was committing to. And at the end of that, I accepted Christ into my life as my king. And about 2 years later, he was leading the worship at a camp over the summer. He was about to baptize a ton of students from that camp. And I was like, Dad, I need to get baptized. He's like, you better go put your swimsuit on because we're about to start. So I ran and put my swimsuit on and got baptized that day.
That's awesome. So, Mason, with your story is similar to mine. We grew up in a church knowing a lot of things about God. Often with people like us, there's a time where you kind of, maybe a period of your life where you made your faith your own. Was there a time like that for you? And if so, what was that like?
Yeah, when I was about 15, somewhere in between, all the time in between when I got saved and baptized and when I was about 15, I kind of just, sat there and was complacent with where I was. But when I turned 15, I went on a Belize mission trip, and I came back, and one of the people who was a good friend of mine said, I'm not following Christ the way I should be. And I was looking at their example, and I realized I wasn't either. I was just kind of sitting there doing the things, in the background, going, I love God, and just sitting there. But that's not what we're called to do. And so I spoke with the staff at my church and my dad and everything, and specifically decided to change my entire path, going along his plan rather than my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've come to UTA, you're finishing up your freshman year here. How have you grown since being here at UTA?
Yeah, so shout out to Jerome and Gary. I don't know where Gary is right now, but he's somewhere over there probably. But literally when I came here, I was very off and on with my quiet time and my personal time with God. And so I came here, and the community here, and specifically Gary and Jerome, have kept me on top of my quiet time and my community with God and my community with Christians. So honestly, these people are the best people to hang out with, so do it. Just saying.
Awesome. What's an encouragement or a challenge you have for everyone here tonight?
So like I said, when I was 15, I kind of dived into God's plan rather than my own. So don't look for your own plan. Follow God's plan and try to make your plan the same as God's plan. That's hard, but I'm working on it. But we need to follow his plan rather than our own. And that's just a challenge. Just constantly try to follow his instead of yours.
Awesome. Can you all say thanks to Mason?